and senior recreation and other sport facilities are needed to keep healthy seniors well. How is Ward A doing on these important needs, and what else needs to be done? Mr. Gaston?
Well, what I've done as a commissioner since I've been chair of the ANC is that we have 3 senior citizen homes, Knox Hill, Washington Nursing Home, and the third one I'm having like a Rick Perry moment right now, the R.L. Walker House. And so what we did was we provided financial assistance to those 3 senior homes to do Zumba. We had a grant to Anacostia High School where we brought in high school singers to come in and teach the singers how to do Facebook, how to do Twitter, and to build that relationship there. Another thing that I would do is I would restore the funding that was there in the budget for that provided food and tax incentives to singers who actually needed help. One of the incidents that we had at Knox Hill was that we had a senior citizen who was facing eviction because she needed 24-hour care. And her son was there watching her, and so Knox Hill wanted to put her out. And so we provided financial assistance not only there, but we partnered with the Office of Aging, who does a remarkable job helping our seniors. But another thing we need to do is figure out how can we give more tax incentives to seniors who right now are not getting the increase in benefits of Social Security so that they can maintain the living that they desire to have.
Okay, next question, also 1 minute. Sorry.
I'll ask the same question for the other 2 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to move too fast. Thank you, Brett. Patterson.
Yes, thank you, Jerry. One of the things I think we need to do, I was talking to some seniors at 8E actually at your meeting, and one of the things that came up about some of the programs that are offered, I think they're doing a good job, but some of the senior wellness centers don't stay open late enough to allow senior citizens to take part in the programs that are offered there. So one of the things is we have to make sure that we get more funding for the wellness centers that are in Ward A so that they can be active in the programs that are actually being offered there. The other thing in working with seniors, that a lot of seniors in Ward 8 are taking care of a lot of their kids, grandkids. They're being put off on a lot of seniors. We have to look at that and make sure that they're getting the proper funding and the assistance to take care of a lot of the children that are being put off to them. They're raising second-generation children. That is something that we really have to look at in Ward 8.
Ms. Seegers.
I believe that the seniors in Ward 8 are kind of left out from the rest of the city, maybe because we are east of the river. I would like for them to get more food stamps. I believe it's $14 now per month. It costs them more to go to apply for it than it does to get them. So I think the food stamps should be increased. They should have better transportation. The metro access, I believe, should be supplemented by the city so they won't have to pay as much if they're over the age of, say, 55 or maybe 60. So it's a transportation issue. Many seniors call me about transportation. The programs they do have at the senior building is more than 3. The senior buildings, they're okay, but I think the seniors want to get out. So I think we can provide transportation so they can get out and do other things. As far as health, we have free health care in the city now, so the health shouldn't be much of an issue.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question, another 1-minute question. Budget cuts often fall on those programs that benefit the most vulnerable members of our community, with the potential to further escalate social problems. Can you identify ways in which expenditures might be reduced more fairly? Mr. Patterson.
Well, I spoke earlier, not so much as about expenditures, but reimbursements and being more effective and efficient in government. And that's where I definitely want to focus on as a council member. I don't think we have strong oversight over a lot of our agencies. In order to make sure that we're funding the programs that we need to focus on, we have to make sure that we first recoup all the money that is owed the District of Columbia, that the grants are used effectively. That is not being done right now. So those are the programs that I want to, as before I mentioned, healthcare finance area. We have to make sure that we are receiving that money and using it properly. That is a program that has basically not been active for years now, and recoup the amount of money. We're leaving about 50 million to 75 million on the table every single year. We could use that money for programs, social programs, safety net programs that would benefit those individuals.
Seegers?
I didn't quite hear your question. I think you said cutting money to aid the city. So the expenditures I would look at cutting, if I have your question correct, would be some of those training programs. Some of the money would be cut to go back in the general funds to be given to more appropriate training center. I would say more money into the environment as to the cleaning of the city. But for the most part, the training programs need to be cut.
Mr. Gaston?
Reimbursements alone cannot solve this issue. Once again, you know the district government can find money to do whatever it wants to do. They found money to build a baseball stadium. They found money to give to Marriott. I just find it irreversible and an excuse that the city can't find money to save and reimburse our safety nets. One of the things that I would want to do is streamline services. One of the easiest things to do is outsource, but we have tons of agencies that replicate and do duplicated things. Why don't we sit down, go line by line, agency by agency, and streamline and consolidate agencies that does the same thing, and we would save money. Another thing that we have to do is figure out how we can make an effective and efficient budget. A $7 billion budget is enough money that can prioritize and move this city forward. If we be more efficient and effective, streamline our agencies, go line by line, we can fund the real priorities of the city, which is creating housing for homeless people, do money for our seniors, and move the city forward by creating a better education system.
Mr. Patterson?
I think I
Oh,
just
I'm sorry.
answered it. Yes, ma'am.
Did we cover all three? Okay. We're doing very well on time, partly because two candidates who are expected are not here, so you're going to get a bonus question. But it's an easy one, and you can take up to 2 minutes each to answer it. And the question is, what question haven't I asked you tonight that you think you ought to have been asked? And who started off this last round?
I think I did.
Okay, Ms. Seegers, you want to go first?
Okay, the question that I would like to be asked is, how would I feel when you endorse me? Most people know my record, they know I'm a doer. They say people are afraid of me, and they need to be, because I support and represent my constituents. And any organization I'm in, I support them wholeheartedly. So the question is, how would I feel when I'm endorsed? I would feel great and wonderful, and you would have my support entirely. Plus, it would be a way to reach over Easter River. I don't think you all come to the Easter River very much. I've seen Weatherburn there. I've seen him there. I don't see you all at the Easter River. So if you endorse me, you have a reason to come over to east of the river, and they have a reason to come over here more. Thank you.
Mr. Gaston?
I actually have two. One was Walmart and one is statehood and voting rights. For Walmart, the issue seems to be how can we force Walmart to do a CBA and pay higher, I guess, living wages to their workers. If Walmart doesn't do it, DC should create a retail living wage for companies that make $27 million a year. For example, Walmart makes over $300 billion in net. Kinko's and Radio Shack. And so my thing is, if Walmart doesn't want to do it voluntarily, let the government take its role and do legislatively to make Walmart pay living wages and health benefits. The second thing is statehood and voting rights. As an ANC commissioner, the first thing that I did as committee chair is my ANC passed a resolution supporting not only voting rights, but statehood. And I have a pleasure of having several friends like Chris Carter, who is a state representative down in Missouri, who introduced a voting right resolution down in Missouri, or even Keisha Ram, who's in Vermont, who did a statehood resolution in Vermont. My thing is, you need to have a council member that can go back to Ward 8, educate Ward 8 on the importance of voting rights and statehood, but be able to use his connections, like such as Chris Carter and Keisha Ram, to move this forward. My thing is, use someone here that can help partner and build relationships, and Darrell Gaston would do that for DC4 Democracy.
Ms. Patterson?
I get to close it out, so thank you.
Yeah.
I would have taken
Oh, you can't steal it. So he's stealing already. You
her
can't
question,
steal. You can't
because I
steal.
do want your endorsement. But I think the question that you should have asked all of us is that what are your qualifications to be a council member? It's one thing to be passionate about policies and about your neighborhood. It's another thing to be qualified to actually represent on the council. You have to know policy. You have to know how to craft policy. You have to have had experience in doing that. I think that's the one thing that's absent a lot of times in a lot of the races, is that you find a lot of people who can pick up something, they can read something, and they can become very passionate about it. But what are your solutions to those problems? What are your qualifications for solving those problems? For the last 20 years, I've worked with groups to make sure to address those problems, whether it's DC Appleseed, which is our think tank for us, for the District of Columbia, or working with the Federal City Council, or sitting on boards. I've worked to solve those problems. I've also educated myself. I am the only certified public manager that is sitting up here that is running. So I know how to look at a budget. I know what it takes to review a budget. I also know what it looks like to actually craft policy and then go back and evaluate that policy to make sure that it is effective and it is efficient. We need to ask people who are wanting to run for council member, are you qualified to do the work of a council member? That's what I would ask.
All right, thank all of you for your communication. Now, at this point, we're going to take a bit of a break.